Do you have a big move in your future? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and ideas to make your move maybe a little easier, maybe a little less stressful, maybe go a little bit smoother. So join me now. Hello, I'm Katanya Hartwell with Village Land Shop and LiveTheFlagstaffLife.com. I'm a local realtor serving Flagstaff and the surrounding areas. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope that you are here to learn all about moving, because that's what I'm going to tell you about. I've moved a lot in my life. It all started when I was in 3rd grade, and my mom decided we were going to move from Houston, Texas to Tempe, Arizona. She packed up me and my brother, our 2 cats and dog, and all the belongings we could fit into a little 1969 VW Bug. My uncle came along too, and we drove from Houston to Tempe, Arizona. What an adventure! Then I switched schools from the time I was in 3rd grade until the time I was in 11th grade. Some of those were moves from school to school. Other times it really was a move from one city to another, or even one state to another. Moving can be a very traumatic experience. It can be very exciting. It can be a combination of the two. And I think I've moved, 15 or so times in my lifetime. So I have a lot of experience with moving. These things could apply to moving from one city to another if it's far enough away, maybe 200 miles. It's going to be a similar type of move. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on moving from one state to another. In a later video, I'll do something where it's just moving from one house to another in the same city. A lot easier move if you ask me. So let's say you know you're going to move in advance and you have maybe 4 months before you are having to move. What you want to do in that 2 to 4 months prior to the move, first thing, if you haven't done it, visit your new city. Now, maybe all you can do is go and drive around just a little bit, kind of get the lay of the land. And so now you're on YouTube looking at videos to see what else can I learn about my new city. The nice thing is more and more people are putting up videos on YouTube, so there should be quite a bit that you can find out. Another good thing to start with is putting together a binder where you can keep all of your receipts, your deadlines, your lists of providers, just any notes that you want to take about moving. So I never had a binder, but hey, you probably could use a binder. Unless you like to just do everything online, then skip the binder entirely. Potentially, this is a good time to make an inventory of all your things, or to purge those things that you really don't need anymore. Unwanted clothing, unwanted knickknacks, even unwanted furniture. This is also a good time to do some pre-packing. Now, when I say pre-packing, that does include packing, not just preparing to pack. Take a look at all the things that you have stored and just start packing up all those areas where you store things that you don't use every day. And having a temporary storage room can really help with that, but it's not a requirement. But all of this moving and planning and where you're going to live or stay temporarily, it's going to cost some money. So you want to plan your budget and give yourself some wiggle room, because there's going to be some unexpected costs. The nice thing is that you can deduct your moving expenses for work on your taxes. So look for that little trick when you are moving, especially if you're moving for work. With all this planning, if you think you're stressed, you might take a look at how your family's feeling. Be prepared to have some different emotional experiences from different members of your family at different times in the process. So take time out for family meetings and checking in and just seeing how everybody's doing. Speaking of families, if you have children, take a look at the schools where you're going to in your new place. Now, I mentioned that I moved with children, and one of the reasons I came to Flagstaff is because of all the charter schools. In particular, I really fell in love with Waldorf education, and they had a Waldorf charter school. I was a little worried that they were going to be too full and my children weren't going to get in, so I had to get them on the wait list early. Others don't require all of that, and you can just sign them up when you get there. Some of the schools that you might want your children to attend could have waiting lists. They could have lotteries. You might need to apply for them in January or February. You will need to transfer your children's school records from their old school to their new school. And it is a good idea to let your child's teacher know sooner rather than later about the move. Whether you are moving with children or not, there may be some other professionals in your life that you would like to see and get in those appointments before you move. Maybe with your doctor or your acupuncturist, a chiropractor, your optometrist. And while you're at it, make sure you ask for all of those medical records. During your planning phase, you want to figure out how are you going to move all of your stuff. Now if everything you have plus your kids and your pet all fit into a little Volkswagen Bug, more power to you. Do that. But these days that's usually not the case. There are a few different things you can do. You can plan to pack everything up yourself, load everything up into a moving truck yourself. The moving truck could be one that you hire a mover, or it can be a U-Haul truck that you rent. Now, one way to save money is that you hire movers that are just going to transport your stuff. So you pack everything up, you load everything onto the truck. When you arrive, you have to be there to unload everything off of the truck, and then the driver just moseys on their way. Now, if you're willing to pack everything up and load everything up into a portable container, then you can just have a moving company come and pick up your container. One thing I learned about packing things up for a long move is that it's better to use cardboard boxes that are all the same size so you can stack them up on top of each other. I got those tubs, those plastic tubs, and when you stack those for a long trip, what happens is they actually break and push down into the middle. They're just not the best idea. It really is better to have the same size boxes. The easiest move I ever had was when I was in middle school. And my family hired professional movers. They came in, they packed everything up, they labeled all of the boxes, they transported everything, they unloaded all of the boxes when they got there, they placed the furniture where we told them to place it. It was a pretty easy move. They even transported our vehicle in the moving truck along with all of our possessions. Another way that I've moved is by getting a trailer hitch on my van, an 8x12 trailer, and packing all of my stuff up into there and driving that across country. So when I was doing that, I saw this transmission cooler device that you attach to your van or car to kind of help keep your transmission running well. I really wish I had done that because I blew the transmission driving from California to North Carolina. So I mentioned that the movers packed our car into the moving truck, and that was great, but if you don't have that luxury, you have to figure out how are you going to get your car from point A to point B. I like the idea of selling it in one city and then buying another car in the next, but sometimes that's not an option and you just have to either tow it or have an auto moving company move that for you. Whenever I have moved from one state to another, I've always made sure I've had some place to live when I get there. A lot of times it's been with friends or family. Sometimes it's been in a hotel. There are a lot of vacation rentals these days, and those can be cheaper than hotels and nicer too. And there's also the possibility of purchasing a home long distance, and I made a whole video about that. You can check it out. And if you're planning to move to Flagstaff anytime soon, give me a call, text, or email. I would love to help you out. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. There is a lot more that goes into moving from state to state, and in my next video, I'll be sharing with you the things you need to do 1 month before your move. So make sure you join me next time. The sooner than the later, because I can speak on how to do that. New living home, the new home. The new living home. I don't know. You have a sleeping home and a working home and a living home. And it is